I'm Kevin. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to talk about carbs, but specifically what we're going to be talking about is why is it that when it comes to carbs, it seems to really have quite an impact on our weight loss journey. So first and foremost, what I would like to do is I would like to talk a little bit about insulin. So what exactly is insulin, right? So insulin is a little hormone. It's quite an important hormone. And we'll briefly talk about this. And if we understand this, this could really help us overall understand what the heck is carbs doing anyways. So first and foremost, when we eat carbs, what this does is it signals to our pancreas to increase the secretion drastically of insulin. Now, simply put, what this does is insulin will go on and communicate, instruct our muscle and fat cells to take in the glucose. Our cells then utilize this glucose, but what's not utilized is then stored. It is stored either as glycogen or fat in our fat cells. So now we can understand that glucose, it might cause us to gain some weight, but it's not just about fat. There's a lot of other things, which we'll discuss. So when we cut carbs or drastically decrease our carbohydrate intake, it seems to have a benefit on our weight loss journey. So what I did is I broke this down into 6 categories, really 5, because I'm not going to really talk too much about one of them. But these 6 categories I broke down is reduced insulin levels. What does that mean? Utilized stored energy, aka fat, also glycogen, but really a little bit more about the fat. Decreased appetite, water weight loss. It's kind of a big one, but it's an easy one to talk about. Lower caloric intake, and improved metabolic health. So carbohydrates, especially refined carbs and sugars, this will cause a spike in our blood sugar level. And what that will do is it will cause an increase in our insulin production. So if we remember more or less what this insulin does, is it promotes storage. Now in this situation, if we're not utilizing this energy, then we will be promoting storage, and that could lead to fat storage. By reducing carb intake, insulin levels will drop, which can lead to fat being released from fat stores and actually utilized as energy. Remember, it's not no carbs, just lowering our carbs can have this effect where we could recreate insulin sensitivity. And this is very beneficial because these days, more and more of us are becoming prone to type 2 diabetes. Well, lifestyle change can also decrease our chances and even reverse type 2 diabetes. And this really comes down to insulin sensitivity and recreating it. Next, we're going to be talking about utilized stored energy, aka fat storage. For most of us, if we're wondering, why are we gaining weight? Like, what's going on? Pants are tight, things are just not fitting well, the scale might be higher than usual. Like, what exactly? Like, we don't realize, but something's happening and we're gaining weight and we need to make a change. What is most likely happening is that we're not active enough to use that glucose. We're not utilizing what we're eating. So it's going to be stored as glycogen and stored as fat. So when our carb intake is low, the body will start to shift to a primary energy source from glucose to fat, especially in very low carb diets like keto or the carnivore diet. This will definitely be seen or be felt. So the next one on the list was decreased appetite. Low carb diets often stabilize our blood sugar levels. And what this does is it actually will have an effect on our overall hunger. So this could reduce our hunger and therefore overall our calorie intake. Low carb diets can help control appetite for sure. I mean, personally, I'm trying out the carnivore. It's been this Tuesday. So tomorrow, this will be 1 month. I'm releasing this video. So last week was my 1 month. And I could definitely say that your appetite is completely different. Your satiety signals are very different. When you cut carbs out, there just seems to be this ability to control our appetite way more. Now, back on topic, decreased appetite. So low carb diets can help control our appetite. High carb foods, particularly those with a high glycemic index, can cause a very rapid spike and crash in our blood sugar levels, leading to increased hunger and cravings. And we fall in this loop, and I know I've been there. We eat something, and then all of a sudden we kind of feel this crash, and then our body's like, hey, let's get out of this crash, and we eat something, and then we fall down into this crash, and it's just this loop that's like just constantly turning, and the consequence of that is increased calories. The next one, water weight loss. When we cut carbs, the first effect we see, like very quick, within the first week, first days. For me, I seen it within the first 2 weeks, but then it stopped. Water weight loss. The reason for this is carbohydrates are stored in the body as glycogen. Now, glycogen binds with water. So all of a sudden, when carb intake is reduced, glycogen stores are depleted. So once glycogen stores are depleted, this ends up leading to a loss in water weight. This initial weight loss can be super rapid and very significant. So like I said, for me, I seen it in my first week, right up to my second week, and it was super consistent. I mean, I dropped a very fast 12 pounds in 2 weeks. For me, yes, that was a little bit motivating, but I already knew that when we store these carbs, it's about 1 gram of carbs to, let's say, 3 or 4 grams of water. I mean, you could say 3.5 grams, right? But for me, what that said was, okay, make sure I'm getting in my electrolytes, make sure I'm staying hydrated. Like I said, there's a benefit of seeing the scale come down. You feel less bloated, but I don't want to be dehydrated. I don't want to feel, I don't want anything bad to happen. So the weight loss could be good, but I have to keep in mind, and all of you should definitely keep in mind, that hydration, electrolytes, we really want to try our best to stay hydrated and maintain hydration. The next topic is a lower caloric intake. The thing with this is it's pretty simple. Carbohydrates are a major source of calories in many diets. They're in everything. By cutting carbs, people often reduce their overall calorie intake, leading to weight loss. Additionally, many low-carb diets emphasizing protein and healthy fats can be way more satiating. And this could lead to a reducing calorie consumption. So when I say satiating, this word comes up often, and we could think of satiety as, I always think of it as being satisfied, but it's just our ability to feel, I guess you could say satisfied. It's the signal to our brain to say, hey, we're good. We don't need to continue eating. So when we cut carbs, there's right away, like I just mentioned, there's a ton of calories that are gone, but protein and fats really signal those satiety signals way better. And like I said, I'm almost 1 month carnivore, and I could definitely attest to that. This is super true. It's something you have to experience to understand, because I love carbs. Yet after a month of this, I'm starting to feel like I still love carbs. When I'm next to my wife and she's having an ice cream and I'm like, oh, that looks good. But I don't have the same cravings. I know things taste good. I know things around me, pizza, pasta, rice, bread. I love bread. But I just don't have it doesn't have the same hold on me, right? And that's a very powerful feeling. So for the last one, I said improved metabolic health. This one, I'm not going to talk too much about because it's crazy how much we could talk about. But when we think about low carb diets, they've been shown to improve various markers of metabolic health. Now, we spoke about how, I think it was in the first topic, we spoke about how by reducing our constant insulin secretion, we could very much recreate that insulin sensitivity that is where we want to be. It's a healthy thing. Insulin resistance leads to a cascading amount of issues. So we see how, sorry, there's a little bit of a rainstorm outside. So just in case you hear some noise, blame it on the rain. Blame it on the rain. Oh, geez. Anyways, so improved metabolic health. I think about when it comes to metabolic health, we could think about so many things, but specifically right now, to try and stay on topic, we just spoke about insulin and how insulin sensitivity is a good thing, and if we really want to, combat insulin resistance, having a healthy amount of carbs, meaning on the low end, could be super beneficial. And without getting too much into it, insulin's job, we spoke about already, how, it instructs the cells, yada, 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 we utilize it. But we don't want a high blood sugar level. So when we eat, if our blood sugar level goes up and we're not utilizing it in exercise or movement or whatever, we need that insulin to bring it back down, to create that homeostasis in our body. So if our insulin's not working well, then this could wreak havoc on our body, because a high blood sugar level is toxic to us. We don't want that. So by not having insulin that works properly, we could have specific things that we see in type 2 diabetes, in type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is different though, because it's not really about the insulin resistance. It's more about things to do with the pancreas. So for today, to finish off, these were the key components that I thought would be super interesting to just kind of put out there and make people realize that when we cut carbs, why is it that this seems to be helpful? So we got the reduced insulin levels, we got the utilized stored energy. So we're able to use stored energy such as fat, which could be very beneficial when we're trying to, shrink, decreased appetite. So protein and fats also have a better ability to increase our satiety levels. So that's a good thing. Water weight loss, 1 gram of carbs, 3 to 4 grams of water stored with our glycogen. Obviously, we cut that out. We shed some water. That quick little weight loss could be quite encouraging. Even if we're saying it's just water weight, it still could be encouraging. And that might be a catalyst in continuing and going a little bit more at the gym. And it could have a healthy effect. Just stay hydrated. Lower caloric intake. A lot of us eat a tremendous amount of carbs, right? There's always carbs in everything, sneaky little buggers. So reducing that could have a beneficial effect on our over caloric intake. And improved metabolic health, I didn't really get into because I feel like that would cause this video to go on forever and ever. But we did briefly speak about how insulin sensitivity could be regained, or we could combat insulin resistance, kind of saying the same thing. Hopefully these topics really clarify why is it that cutting carbs seems to assist us in our weight loss journey. That being said, as always, don't be afraid to subscribe. Good luck on your journey. And if you have any questions, I'm always here. I'm looking forward to some comments out there. Let's just stay focused and keep on doing what we got to do. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.